was a good minutes of 10. That was a good 10 minutes of wasted time. Stupid YouTube. I'll delete all these. Ugh. All right. I don't know why, but I set it to public, and then when I went to advanced settings to make sure all that was good, and I went back to the previous tab, it was all gone. It erased everything that I did. So I got to start all over again. So now I'm like 12 minutes late. Thanks, YouTube. You suck. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. There. All right. Let me say whatever the hell it was I was saying before. I don't remember what I started with. Shit. Let's see. Yeah, I decided to have my hair back this time. Somebody having trouble with video editing. Is it public? Let me check it on my own site just to make sure, because my God. There we go. Nope. Nope. There we go. Yep, looks like it's up. All right. Jesus. Okay. Wow. Let me just say wow. Okay. What was I talking about before? Hey there, everyone. For anyone who's watching. I was talking about why getting into more than just voice acting is always a good idea. Because this month has been very, very slow for me. And it's always good. So no voice actor really survives off just like one thing. Like if a voice actor does like telephony, telephone messages kind of stuff, they don't live off that. If a voice actor does cartoon characters, he doesn't just live off that. If someone does audiobooks, they really don't live off just that. So you always have to have something else. And the things that I had been working on, because I used to do like stand-up comedy a lot and I used to do more acting, but because of the whole, scare city, scare country, actually, I'd been doing more writing and more animation and more art, like some of you have seen and noticed, especially in the last live stream where I was doing more art, because I didn't feel like turning the webcam on and setting up all the lights, because I always have to set up a whole bunch of lights. But there you go. So that's advice right out of the gate. That's the short of it, is find something else that you can do on top of voice acting, especially if it's not just a hobby, especially if you're like really living off of it and you're really making money, and it's not just like, if you already have a day job, then just focus on that one thing that you want to take over for the day job. Focus on that one thing that you want to be the breadwinner in the future, the dream breadwinner, and that'd be voiceover. So focus on that, really go all in on that, learn everything you can, build the studio, work on your craft, work on your demo, get it out there, that kind of stuff. And then when you're able to kind of move more time from the day job into the voice acting, then, you'll be able to, get some steam, and then eventually, say goodbye to the day job. But once you do that, you need to add something else to to your schedule. You need to add something else to your repertoire. You got to add something else to your portfolio, I guess. And for me right now, it's art and animation and writing, because those are the easiest things that I can do from home. And I would say for a lot of people, get into writing, even if it's just for yourself, even if it's for, not for, you're not planning on publishing it, get into writing. Really good writing skills will help you down the line. It'll definitely help you with, communicating with other clients or with clients in general. That'll definitely help. But it'll also possibly be something that you could do later on, especially if you want to really get into art and animation, voiceover. Sometimes you have to create your own work when it comes to art and animation. There's a lot of voice actors, great voice actors, who basically had to create their own shows. Like Seth MacFarlane had to create his own show, that he now does most of the voices in. And, people like, I can't remember the two guys' name, who created Rick and Morty, but basically did the exact same thing. It was their brainchild, it was their product, and then one of them was like, I want to do a lot of the characters, that kind of thing. So sometimes you have to create your own content, create your own work, and getting into writing will also help you do that, because you won't be able to do every voice. Like if you're creating art and animations, you're creating cartoons or parodies or whatever, you're not going to be able to do all the voices, and you don't want to do all the voices. So sometimes you have to hire other people. Same thing with me and Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper, which, since I've been doing more art and animation, I'm just getting better at art and animation, and finishing up that project is becoming more and more of a possibility. It's becoming easier and easier thing to do. Already had all the audio for the next episode already recorded from everybody, and really just needed to do the art and animation. Now, before, it costs like $6,000 to get that first episode done. And even though the studio that we had gone to said that they would be, that now that they had the character models, that it'd be easier in the future, I thought that it would just be a better idea if I just learned that stuff and took it on basically myself. I thought that would be a better idea. Me and my animation brother, art and animation brother. Let's see, what's this? Oh, all right, just someone commenting on that. But yeah, you're gonna want to create your own content, especially. Well, I don't know. That's the thing, is I don't know if it would be too late for people to start taking on stuff like that right now, because I don't know what the future is for current state of affairs in as far as like being able to go out and being able to meet people in person and hang out with friends. I don't know where we are with that. So I don't know if it's gonna last for a year. Please, Jesus, no. But if it's gonna last for a year, then yeah, you could take on more things like that and might start seeing some, progression, and might start seeing some profit, I guess, from it within that frame of time. But if not, then I don't know if you'd really be able to take on more things like writing and animation and other kinds of projects like that to try to subsidize all that's going on or your life right now. I don't know. Again, this is all very weird state of affairs. Yeah, I didn't feel like wearing the headphones today. Not that I have any problem. Not that they're uncomfortable. They're still comfortable. I just want to get my hair out of my face. As you can see, my hair wants to curl forwards. I don't know if you've seen pictures or anything. My hair always wants to curl forwards around my ears, and it actually curls into my ears, which is crazy because my ears are facing you, not the back of my head. And so it's bananas that my hair would want to do that. And so I just didn't want to deal with it right now. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I got some of these in here, some bass traps in here, which normally these bass traps, I have 4 of them in here, just leaning up against this wall. And the reason I have those is because it's hot. All the AC units that are just on the other side of this wall have been going constantly, and I wanted to kind of cut down on some of that low bassy noise. And I actually have a video that I've recorded talking about these that will probably be going up soon. Not really putting them together. I didn't really shoot a video putting these together because I think I put these together last year when it was hot, and it was too hot to film, and I was all alone, so I didn't want to like. I didn't want to record myself. I look disgusting. Well, I always look disgusting, so it's not really a problem. Hey, Mage Pro. I always want to say Magi or Mega, but that's backwards. It's probably my dyslexia. Spokes of income. Spokes of income. Always a good idea. Spokes. Is that a phrase? Is that a term? I was going to mention that you need long hair and a ponytail and a wizard's robe. Serious angry face. Maybe. Actually, when I got out of the shower and I combed my hair like this, what was the is it Kevin that's not Kevin James, Kevin Smith? What's his name? He did Mall Cop and The Boom or whatever. He does like, he's got all these skits that are very popular on YouTube right now where he's like a sound guy and they edit him into like footage from movies. He has this new film that's coming out. I think it's already out. I think it's on Hulu or something like that, or Netflix. He plays like a white supremacist crazy guy who just got out of jail, and he's like looking for like evidence or something that like frames him or something, and somebody has it, and he plays like this very creepy, intimidating guy. The problem is like, I love it when comedic actors get out of their comfort zone or try to break typecast rather and try to do more serious stuff. I mean, I think a great example is Robin Williams doing 1 Hour Photo, one of my absolute favorite dramas. Actually, one of my favorite roles of Robin Williams, period. Comedy or drama, like just period. It was amazing. Fun fact, it was actually written for Jack Nicholson, but Jack Nicholson turned it down, and so they had like an open casting call, and Robin Williams came in, and they were like, there's something there, and then they had him come back, and they were like, nailed it. But anyway, yeah, so he was doing that movie, so that's what this kind of reminded me of. I don't know why. It's probably the long facial hair and the pudgy complexion. But anyway, so Mage Pro, LOL. Mage Pro. People have been asking me to do more impressions reading troll comments lately. Just a lot of that. And so I don't really like. So I've been responding. I respond to a lot of comments, mostly just because like I get the messages like on my phone like all the time. It's like about like 10, 15 messages a day or comments a day. That's easy to respond to. At some point it will get like more and more tricky. If it's just someone saying like you suck or your impression's not all that good, I don't respond. No point. Who cares? They're literally just sharing their opinion. It's fine. Like they're absolutely entitled to it. When people say good job, I'll just thumbs up or something like that. But every now and then you get some comments that are like golden, and there's a lot to unpack there. If the negative comment supersedes any possible negativity that could logically come from a video, because every now and then I have videos where I'm like dissecting a microphone, and a lot of people like don't like it. They're like, hey, I like this microphone, why are you being so mean? And I'll have to explain. It's like I review these on the sense of a voice actor, like, is this a good starting career microphone? And that's how I review them, and they don't meet that standard. They're just below that. They can still be used for things like streaming or just doing talking head videos on YouTube. They might be a good audition mic, but for like a career microphone, they don't quite meet. And then people leave a lot of comments like that, and I don't judge people for that, but every now and then there are some comments that supersede logical, conflict or logical offense that anyone could take from a video. And I'm not gonna read if you go to my Facebook, you'll see that I actually posted a particular person's comment that was left on a Bidalgo video. I think I've done like 2 or 3 Bidalgo videos, but there was one of them where, and this was like my first. Someone had asked me to go review the website Bidalgo, which is a voiceover platform. It's actually a really good voiceover platform. But I review this stuff from the sense of character voice acting. Especially at that time, I wasn't doing or really taking on, or really understood much in the way of commercial narration, and so I was not tackling any of those issues. And so I was reviewing Bidalgo on the sense of doing character, video game, animation, cartoon, that kind of stuff. And so that was what my entire review on Bidalgo was. And I think even in the video I said that Bidalgo was relatively new or new to the game or something like that. And what I was referring to was the fact that voices.com, Voice123, and Fiverr had actually existed long before Bidalgo in some sense or another. And it wasn't really like a slight, it was just comparatively speaking that, Bidalgo, hadn't been around that long. And Bidalgo themselves had actually commented, and that actually happens a lot when I review or talk about a particular website, voiceover website, that the people who create the website will actually message me or correct some of my, statements or some of my points. It's never really seemed to be, where they're upset that I reviewed the website. Bidalgo said, "Hey, yeah, we don't really do that much character work. It's not really what we focus on. Most of the client work that comes in is for narration, audiobook, voice messaging, radio spots, and that kind of stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, that's basically what I said." And they were like, "We have been around for 10 years." I don't remember how long ago that message was, so I don't know how old the website would be now. But they're like, "So, not new, but we have been around for a while." Which, I mean, I don't remember saying new in any kind of slight towards the website. I don't remember ever saying it as if that was a bad thing, just kind of saying it like there's a lot of people that aren't aware. However, and most people just seem to be 50-50 on the video. Most people don't really have much to say or don't really like that I'm reviewing something on one particular style of voiceover or one particular avenue of voiceover. And so, some people, rate it that way or ask more questions or whatever. There's one person who got genuinely offended that I would say anything bad about the website. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can go find the comment on Facebook. I want to navigate people to the comment on Facebook and not Bidalgo, because anytime someone leaves any weird or questionable or outraged message, I always block out their name and block out their icon or face. I'm not sending anyone to go harass them, troll them, or anything like that. I don't need anyone's help for that. I can absolutely troll trolls. I do stand-up comedy for, I was doing stand-up comedy for like 8 years, I think, solid. And I'd gotten heckled constantly. So none of that bothers me. But if you want to go read exactly what they said and exactly what my response was, you can go find that on my Facebook page, which a link to my Facebook page should be in the description. Not positive. Before I go on, let's read this from Mage Pro. As I recall, the review of Bidalgo was very, very keyed to character work. And just about nothing else. Because, I mean, how else would I review something? The attitude presented in their complaint in their complaint was more an attack on you personally. Yeah. Which, is bananas. It's absolutely crazy to do that. Yeah. But yeah, like that's how I review websites. That's how I review microphones. That's how I review demos. If you were to ask me, to review like a commercial demo, all I can really review it on is quality, as far as like audio quality, and maybe like the mix if you threw in music and all this kind of stuff. As far as like the read, I've never really been good at narration and commercial narration and radio spots. And the reason for that is, and I've talked to Bill DeWeese about this multiple times. Every time anytime I have coaching with him, which I need to connect with that guy again. It's always a pleasure. But character narration, commercial narration is something that I've never really truly understood and never really got. Anytime I do a good job or I land an audition, I always feel like it's luck, and I always feel like it's happenstance, or it's, that something clicked and it wasn't based on my understanding or my skills in the read. So, my next review coming up, as far as like microphones, I actually had ordered a microphone, not a microphone, but it was an interface from a small, very portable interface that was reasonably priced, that I thought was a real good option for possibly a starting career interface, and then moving its way into backup or portable, because it was, nice size, and it provided phantom power, and it had headphone jack. I don't want to necessarily say what it is, because I still plan on reviewing it down the line, but I had ordered it, and it took 3 weeks before it got basically up to the Amazon Dropbox at my apartment complex, and they broke the item trying to deliver it. They destroyed it, smashed it to pieces. And they had to return it. Like, basically, I was told that it had arrived, and then like within minutes later, they said, "Oh, we lost it." And I was like, "What are you talking?" I'm looking at the thing where it says like where they are, and I'm like, they arrived there. And then they said, "Wait 48 hours, maybe it's just lost or whatever." And then like the next day, they were like, "It was destroyed." We don't know what happened. We have no explanation for you. Here's an immediate refund. We are so sorry. And so, and I'd been waiting for a while to get my hands on that and review it, and then now it was just gone. It's just gone. And then for a while, I went back, and there was only one place on Amazon that I could actually buy it from, and I went back to that same spot to try to order it again, and they had nothing in stock. And I'm like, what just happened to that product? And then like recently, I had seen that they had some of that back in stock, and they had lowered the price by like $10 or something like that. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll try to order it again. But that was the next thing that I was going to review, because I hadn't done that many interfaces. I think we've reviewed on this channel 4 or 5 interfaces, maybe something like that. But I need to add more interfaces. And yes, I will eventually get to a Focusrite Scarlett at some point. But right now, from every review that I've seen of the Focusrite Scarlett, from everyone else's reviews, and all the audio quality that I've been able to get my hands on from audio samples from people who actually have them, it seems like it's a totally legit, beautifully sounding buy. So, I feel confident saying, if someone's like, "Hey, what about the Focusrite Scarlett?" saying, "Yeah, that's a good thing to get." But as far as my personal opinion, I don't have one yet. Please be patient. Okay. LOL whining. Oh, winning an audition is luck on top of all the other things you mentioned. I don't remember all the things that I mentioned. Like winning the lottery, you can't win if you don't play. Yes, but I will say this. Not all auditions are luck. Not all auditions are luck. There are a couple times when, and again, I'm just speaking from character work, because I really don't have many. Well, no, I do have a few experiences as far as like landing the perfect like radio or commercial narration. I did. This was a long time ago. This is way back. I don't remember the company, but I won an audition for an Irish car commercial for radio. And it was, I don't remember where in Ireland it was, but it was a local regional car commercial for radio. And at the time there really wasn't any other things that I had to audition for, and I was trying to hit like an audition quota. And I think it was like 5 auditions a day at the time. And there was nothing else. And I think that was the only thing I auditioned for that day. So it's kind of like subpar. But I did land that audition, and that was not luck. That was not me just guessing and gambling. That was me actually putting in the genuine effort and understanding what it was they wanted. And here's the thing. I won that audition against actual Irish speaking voice actors. Okay? So I would definitely say that was not luck. Don't ask me to ever do that again. I don't think I ever could. But that was definitely not me just like rolling the dice going, hey, I sent the right audition. That was me actually putting in a lot of time and effort into the audition as much as I would the actual product. I had to go, since it was very specific regional, I had to go and listen to the actual spoken dialect of that area. Since I knew with the region that it was, I went and I looked for like local radio or local interviews, local news, weather broadcasts and stuff like that of that area, and then try to match the syllables, the consonants, the vowels, and that kind of stuff with the way they speak it over there. And it took a lot of tries. And then I sent that in and I landed the audition. And I think I don't remember how much I paid. I paid like $200 maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But that was not luck. And then every now and then I get some character work and video game work that is, again, not luck. So I wouldn't say that all auditions are luck. But for me, when it comes to narration and commercial work, it often feels like luck. It often feels very, very weird. Who the hell is messaging me? Oh. I'm just gonna close that. I'll stop seeing that message pop up. But anyway, okay, let's get over here. Ardent Evo. What is this? What is this? Sounds familiar. Oh, that thing! I've been wanting to get my hands on that. Wow. Totally forgot about that thing. That neat little portable. Oh, man. I would love to. Don't get me wrong. I would love to review that thing. And who knows? Maybe I will in the future. I don't know. Maybe we will. I'll keep an eye out for that one. I have the Focusrite Scarlett. Octoprix. It's not an interface, but does have 88 output. Clean and smooth, of course. We do full cast audios here. Oh, right. Gotcha. It ties into a very expensive Fireface. You're throwing all kinds of names and stuff at me that I'm like, I've heard of that. I've heard legends. I've heard the legends of old. Okay, yeah, that is what I thought it was. Okay. Would I love one of those kinds of setup? Of course I would. At some point, I would love to just have like just one of those big racks and just things. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. However, I don't fully understand exactly how to use or how to perfectly fine-tune compressors, especially like that. So it's always something that I'm staying away from for right now. Perhaps your prep for the audition was the key. Yes, I would definitely say that it was. Also the fact that I recorded it 5 times, recorded it first time, listened back to it, and then listened to the dialect and goes, "Nope," and I would circle what words or areas needed to be changed and put little notes of like, how it was said, whether they'd go up on it, down on it, stretch it out, smoother, sharper, does it get cut off, that kind of stuff. I think I even tried spelling it phonetically above the word, something like that. There was a lot of work that went into it, and so by the 5th one, I was like, "Oh, this has gotta be it, I'm tired," and then I landed that one, so, it's not always luck. I also don't want people to have the idea that it is luck. I don't want people to think that it's, you know, uh, that the people who have landed auditions or the people who've gotten a lot of work, that they're just lucky, that they're in the right place at the right time, that they, just knew somebody who knew somebody, you know, whatever, that they just so happen to have the right voice. That can happen, but that is very much the minority cases. Very much the sliver of cases. It's not common. Most of the time it is hard work. It's very, very hard work. It's lots of prep. It's hurting yourself trying to understand. That's what it is. Sometimes winning the audition for repeat customer is a shoe in. Yeah, sometimes. Other times they want something different and we don't get the job. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes. Again, yeah, don't bank on luck. Uh, just don't bank on luck. Just put the time in. I guess that's the message. I'll get some more water. Ah, that is getting dry. Okay. All right. What was I talking about? So I want to know what you guys think about has voiceover right now taken a huge dip, or has it been basically the same? Now, if you weren't really getting that much voiceover before, it's probably going to be hard for you to tell. But for me, I can say that yes, since the lockdown, even though voiceover is like we're just in house, in our own studios and it's all digital, that there has been a huge dip. I still do get works with certain clients, but even clients that I still get return work, a lot of them have been cutting corners, or when it comes to like art and animation, there's a lot more return clients of mine who've been reusing some sounds that I've been that or some phrases that I've said with certain characters, and then only having me re-record or record new lines. So and that was not the case before. It was absolute, every time that they would need, like, even if it was just running sound, the grunts or whatever, they would still come to me for fresh ones every single time. But now it seems like it's a little bit more, you know, um, reuse, which is fine. I get it. Like, I understand it. It's not weird, but it is kind of a bummer. I'm just gonna, dude, I gotta turn that off. I gotta turn that off. That's distracting. So I want to know if you guys have been noticing the same thing. Mm. Ooh, my gourd. Mm. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there. Can't be the water. Cannot be the water. Um, so I have a video coming up, which will be the next one. I was kind of touching on it before. Talking about the difference between treatment and soundproofing, something that I've covered multiple times in other videos, kind of, and sometimes that I've covered in live streams, but this time I'll actually be like genuinely talking about it, and then you can search for that topic. Um, actually for us as VAs, it's gotten better. Well, good. For the audio work from Hollywood has dropped. Yes, Hollywood has basically shut down forever. Not forever, but man, have they shut down. Dropped on practically nothing. Audiobooks are up. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I was actually talking to somebody about whether or not I should get into audiobooks because, like I said, there are 3 audiobooks. No. There were 2 audiobooks that I had done. One of them you can't find anymore, thank God. And the other one is a thing of poems or something like that, I think. And it always took me a very long time to do audiobooks, but I do know that it is something that is becoming more and more popular. And there's a lot of people who've said, "Oh, you do a lot of characters. It'd be great for you to do like a fantasy or sci-fi and do a lot of characters for an audiobook." And I'm like, I don't know if I would personally be able to do an audiobook. So who knows? Maybe I will. If anything, if I do an audiobook, it would probably be something that I write. There is one short story which is being worked on that I've been working on for a long time that it would be easier for me to read because I would already know what the story is. I would already know the beginning end and I would already know what's being said because I wrote it. That would be possibly something that, I could do. So commercial work is down. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Dip, I think. What? Dip? But maybe more people. Oh, the dip. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was talking about audiobooks. I just spaced. But maybe more people looking for VO artists from home studios. Yes, there are more people looking for home studios. Actually, there was I'm not going to name the name, but there was a voice actor who was who doesn't own who never owned a home studio. Someone who I know. Not going to name who they are, and they've always been the in studio. They've always been like I always go to the studio. I don't need my own. I audition at the studio. I record at the studio. I just go in, all this kind of stuff. And now they absolutely cannot do that. And they don't have a home studio. And there was someone that I was kept trying to was like, hey, if you need help building a home studio, I can help you. They're like, I'm never gonna need a home studio. And now they're just frantic. And I'm just like, dude, oh, what did I say? I don't think you want to do audiobooks because of the dyslexia. Yes, that's exactly why I was asking that. What about a children's audiobook? Possibly. That'd be really embarrassing if I couldn't read the children's audiobook. You have such a nice face. Oh, thank you. It's framed by this weird collection of hair, and I'm just gonna keep growing it. Actually, so someone recently was wondering why I was growing all my hair out, and it has nothing to do with the quarantine or any of the lockdown or anything like that. I actually wanted to be the only person in my family to actually be able to donate hair, and as you can see, I need to hurry up and do it before all this goes away. So, yeah, thank you. So what was I talking about? So Dip, audiobook, sound treatment. Things I was going to review that I didn't get to review. Another video idea, and this is something to look for in the future, was I was going to try to find, I'm definitely waiting till after all of this is done, but I was actually going to try to find what is the best voiceover option on Wish. But this was an idea I had months ago, and I've been scrolling through. I don't know if there is one. We'll see. So I don't want to order anything off of it as of right now, just because. But it is possibly a video for the future. So if you guys have any ideas or know of anything that might be a good option, let me know. But so those are some videos. One I've already shot, which is about the difference between soundproof and sound treatment. That's coming up next week. And what else? I had recorded something else. I don't remember what it was. Oh, this was something that I've been working on. Hello to everyone, by the way. Hello to anyone who's chiming in. Okay. All right. See if I can do this one. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at, but I've been practicing this. Actually, planning on doing an animated, some animated Shakespeare, just for practice, in both Shakespeare and animation. But this is Now is the Winter of Our Discontent, and done in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 impressions. So let's see how this goes. First one is Daffy Duck. Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the Son of York, and all the clouds that lower upon our house in the deep bosom of the oceans buried. All right, let's move this over here, actually. There we go. That's better. Ian McKellen. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alorums changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Al Pacino. Grim-visaged war has smoothed a wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds and frightful the soul, to fright the soul of the fearful adversary. I'm going to start that one over again. Sorry. I'm going to start that one over again. Grim-visaged war. I don't know why that makes me laugh. It's just Al Pacino, because he's such a smooth talker. He used to be. Do what? What's the story behind blowing? Oh, I'll get to that in a second. Al Pacino. Oh, yeah. Hoo-ha. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of the fearful adversary, he capers nimbly into a lady's chamber, to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. Okay, there we go. I don't know. That sounded more like Richard Nixon. Okay. Christopher Walken. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, the maid, to court an amorous looking-glass. I, that am rudely stamped and wanting love's majesty, to strut before a wanting ambling nymph. Don Knotts. I, that am crudely, and this fair proportion, cheated of features by disassembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time, into a breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. I'm going to change that one. I don't want to do that one. I'm going to do, let's do George W. Bush. Why, in this weak, papping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless just spy on my own shadow in the sun, and descant on my own deformity. Donald Trump. And therefore,
since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days.
Why did I write Churchill? I don't want to do Churchill. Why did I write Churchill? That's stupid. Let's do Joe Pesci. Let's do Joe Pesci instead. Why did I write Churchill?
Plots have I laid. Inductions, dangerous. By drunken prophecy, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, the one against the other.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And if King Edward be so true and just as I am
let me do that. People ask for this. Can you imagine that?
And if King Edward be so true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up, and the prophecy which says the G of Edward's heir with the murderer shall be.
Finally, William Shatner.
Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here, Clarence comes.
There we go. That's the whole thing. People asked for that like a month ago. I need to work on that a little bit more. I haven't had a lot of time. Okay. All right. What's the story behind the blown up 416 microphone cartoon? Oh, working on an intro to the channel. Never really had like a good intro. Really just been it's been the same intro and outro for years, and I need something. So working on animation. Let's just do animation for it. Well done, Don. Thank you. Don Knotts was one of the first real character actors that I, ever really even knew. These are great, man. Thank you. Arnold had a bit of walking in him. Yeah, see, everyone has been saying that. Not everyone, but a lot of people have been saying that. And I think I mentioned it on the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, maybe. But so there's this I don't know what it's called. It's not a glottal stop. It's the voice is held back here in that kind of where it's like kind of like a bubble where it's not articulated at the teeth and at the tip of the tongue. It's held back here. And they both have that. So really the only true differentiating features of those two voices really are the accents and the rhythm and pace. So with Christopher Walken, you can hear it's very held back. You can feel it more in your ears back here. That's where the voice comes from. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger is very similar. It's kind of like this, but of course, you bring it down a little bit more. And of course, he has this thing about vowels, where it's like O's and U's. It's like this. But yeah, they're very, very similar. Very, very similar. Or at least the way that I do them. I'm sure the way other people do them is very different. Shatner did that on stage. That monologue. I never actually watched that. I know that William Shatner was more of a classically trained actor, hence a lot of his weird over-the-top stage acting performance in a lot of the stuff that he did early on, where he was very, open and big-handed. That's because, and you'll see that with a lot of actors at that time, who went from being classically trained, basically when you go from vaudeville and stage, whoever like teaches acting to, and then those people go on, they will basically inherit some of the vaudeville, stage acting kind of performance. Nowadays, because audio is really good, video is really good, we can get really, really close with the cameras. It's more about the subtleties and it's more about the quiet, down to earth moments. But with William Shatner, he was basically like the last generation of that kind of over the top overacting. And so it's not really his fault. It's not really William Shatner per se. It's more of just where he came from. So, is the project with you and your brother animation still going on? There's a lot of projects that me and my brother are trying to work on, but the other project, the one that we were doing for a client, that one is not going on. Partly because, and I don't want to go into detail about it because I never want to put clients on blast, but part of it was because it wasn't clear, despite how many questions I asked or how much information I would put out there wasn't a lot of return from the client. And this is the same with voiceover. This is the same with really anything you do with clients. So, I put out there is like, what kind of animation are you looking for? What style of animation? Also, when do you need this by? These were all very, very important questions that were never answered. And so I put an arbitrary deadline just so we wouldn't be, dilly-dallying the whole time. And then, let them know, is this kind of what you're looking for? Never really responded. So I just assumed, yeah, we'll just try to get that done by then. And then even on the order page, it actually has a what style of animation. And so the client didn't answer it in the communication, the one-on-one communication, and didn't answer it on the page. And so I had sent a storyboard of basically what I had in mind, and the client approved that. And so we basically just created a polished version of my rough animation, my rough animatic. And when we sent that in, the client was then very unhappy. Also, the client sent us what was a very, very rough image of the character they wanted animated. And there were a lot of errors with that character. There was a lot of physical and animation and art errors that were hard to recreate in a smooth animation. The arms were different lengths. There were different shapes and widths. So the arm that was closest was actually skinnier for some reason and was longer than the arm in the back, which was almost like a triangle, like it was very stocky here, and then would come to a weird point. But the client wanted, and it wasn't like a deliberate choice. Most everything else about the character that they had designed was very much symmetrical, was very deliberate, but the arms and the legs were just weirdly proportioned. And so, when I did the rough animatic, I kind of, met the two arms in the middle, like kind of created arms that was a blend of the one on the right and the one on the left to try to be closer to what they had, just so it'd be easy to flip the image either way and it still look on model. All technical stuff. But at the time they had approved that. And so, when my brother, who's a more experienced artist and animator, took what I had done and started building on top of that, and then created the render, and we had sent them parts of the render at a time to get their approval, and they never had any issue. And so we had already sent them like 3/4 of the thing, and then when we finally finished it and rendered the whole thing, sent it to them, and they were like, "This is all wrong." We're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, you had multiple checkpoints to actually tell us that we needed to change something. And he was like, nothing is correct. It's all wrong. Come to find out, he is the one who drew the original image and took offense to us changing it, even though it really wasn't changed all that much. For the most part, the body and the head were traced, body, head, and tail, which, again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but that might be saying too much, was traced from the actual character. And the arms and legs were basically just smoothened out and made so they would be easier to animate because we had to rig them and stuff like that. But that's all weird technical stuff, and that project is not going on. However, both of us have learned a lot about art and animation. Long story short, the goal of the art and animation is trying to get back into art and animation on this channel. Because that was something that I had been trying to do for a very long time and kept running into roadblocks and hurdles, especially considering my inexperience and having to focus on more this kind of stuff, voiceover and YouTube rather than art and animation. But now, since lockdown, no one's going anywhere, I've been able to focus a little bit more time on that kind of stuff. So one of the positive things for you guys is that if I do more art and animation, and we do start doing cartoons on this channel, or we have another channel we might do cartoons and spoofs on, parodies and stuff like that, there would be auditions, there would be open auditions for characters that I wouldn't be doing. So that is something that I'm very much looking forward to. I want a lot of the people that have been very engaged on this channel, who are also into character work and animation and video game and cartoons and stuff like that, to have an opportunity to audition on stuff that I'm working on. Now, like always, I will be posting a lot of those auditions on castingcallclub.com or castingcall.club. I need to stop saying that. I just get used to its actual name. Because that's the platform that I think is really has the most potential. But I would always be mentioning it on this channel. So keep in mind, I'm here for you. Okay, cool. Yeah, always. Like I said, I'll always be posting it here, but if there's anything special that I know that certain people can do, I will absolutely be reaching out to them individually. But no promises, because again, this is an area that is kind of outside of what I fully understand. But it's something that I'm getting more and more into. I wish I could actually mention the I'm gonna try to look up. There's one guy that I actually want to give a shout out. He's the person that I've been learning a lot of animation from. I'm gonna give him a shout out real quick. Where are you? Here. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to say that name, so I'm just gonna copy his. I'm just gonna copy his channel. There's no way I'm saying that name. I will absolutely butcher that. So in fear of butchering it, that's the guy I've been going to. Got a lot of tutorials. So this brings us back to the thing that I was talking about at the beginning. You really need to do more than just voiceover, because I think the lockdown and the quarantine and all this kind of stuff is really an eye-opening experience for a lot of people, myself included. Is that I mean, going into this, I didn't think that my career was going to be affected really at all, and I still think that I picked a good career choice, but you never know how everything is connected until everything goes south. So sure, I'm still here, I'm still doing voiceover, but if everyone else who would hire you has some sort of issue, or they have to work from home, or they're having to lay people off, or they're having to downsize or whatever, then obviously you're not going to get as much work. So definitely find something else, whether it's getting into music or art or writing. Definitely suggest writing. I think it's the most therapeutic. Whatever it is, branch outside of voiceover. Now, don't try to do that if you have a day job. You're balancing day job and career, which is your future career, or dream job, which is the voiceover. But when you have time to move something else in, or when you're making enough off the voiceover to, leave the day job, then take on some other things. Because you will absolutely benefit from, having extra things to do. Also, and this is probably just coming from me and my particular specific issues. I have ADHD, and sitting down doing one thing for too long is quite grueling. And, you know, I can only really record in a, studio for 30 minutes before it really starts to feel like I've been in here for hours, and I start getting like anxiety and I gotta like leave. But what I'll normally do is, instead of going off and watching TV or just taking a nap or or playing video games, what I'll actually do is go off to some other creative outlet. Creativity is still going. I'm still doing something for my future, or I'm still doing something for a client, but it's always something else. And that's really what's been helping me more than anything. I mean, really, what I should be doing is exercising, but which I have been doing. It just hasn't been obvious. It hasn't been obvious. Also, doesn't matter how much exercise you do if your diet is still garbage. It doesn't help. And I need to talk to a nutritionist when I can. That's probably what I really need more than the exercise. I mean, like, I'm like standing up, being physical in here for like several hours. Surely that's got to count for something. But yeah, you got to find something else. You got to do more things than just that one thing. Because if that one thing goes out, it's kind of like, so I did a video before talking about having backup systems, like a backup computer, or backup microphone, or a backup interface. Backup career choices is also a good idea. So, when you have the day job, you want to build the dream job as the backup for the day job. But when you get when you finally get the dream job, you need a backup for the dream job. Because if something goes out, it's game over. It's like having candles or, flashlights in your house. When the power goes out, like, you need that other option. Even if it's just something small to like kind of make a transition smoother. You need something. So, yeah. I did. Surprisingly, my agent actually got me an audition. Oh, here we go. The Legend. Hello, The Legend. I think I know who this is. Show. Why are you being blocked? You said, well. YouTube. What the heck? What the higgity heck? He just said, well. Is that a dog whistle now? What the heck? What's going on? Why are you being hidden? Why is he being... Why are you being hidden, man? Hey, Legend, how's it going? Oh, yeah, I know it's you. What is going on, YouTube? Really? You'll block this guy? But the 2 or 3 people that would just be trolling my live streams, you're going to let them just slide by? Really? Whatever. Sure, YouTube, it's fine. But anyway, I actually want to know what you guys have as a backup or an alternative or a hobby, whatever you do outside of voiceover. If you guys are all taking on voiceover, which I think you are, or at least some of you, like King Siggy here, from way back in the day of YouTube, is I think mostly just YouTube channels. Have you been taking on voiceover? I don't think you have. I haven't seen anything about that. Let me know. But I want to know what y'all's, backups or hobbies are. I don't know if you guys have been taking on that kind of stuff, or are y'all still focusing on day job and voiceover? No. Okay, cool. Because I mean, this is the best time to be thinking about that kind of stuff. That, as well as, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, you should probably still be doing your 1, 5, and 10 year plans, despite the fact that 2020 is slapping plans out of the air, like, like basket, like you're trying to get hoops and they're just like trying to dunk it and they're just slapping balls out of here. It's a terrible sport, and I don't know. I got nothing. But yeah, you need something else, and so that's what I've been doing. And that's why a lot of that has been posted on YouTube. My hair still looks sweaty. It's still why? It's not that hot in here. It rained. It rained for days, for like a whole day. It's not that hot. Day job and voiceover. I want to do what? Oh, I want to do sports, but it's so okay. Sports is really vague. Like which sport? Which sport do you want to do? Sports is really vague. That's really, really vague. It's a lot of sports. Also, I think curling is a sport. So, and I think bowling is too. Is golf's a sport? Yeah, you're gonna be more specific, dude. Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, keep the day job, work on the voiceover, and it's good that you still have a day job. It's good that you still have a day job. Hello, a random Granado. No, there's no N in there. I'm gonna say random Granado. I'm gonna say random Granado. Hey there, how are you? Guten Tag. Aloha. Only that the general audio group of things includes. Only that the general audio group of things includes voiceover. Okay, you're making a comparison. I see. I'm also writing. Yeah, I know that you're a writer. Oh, you're a writer. I think I've read some of the stuff that you've been writing. I think. Let's go ahead and show that. But I picked up Manga Studio Pro. Oh, okay. It's like, oh, but I started reading manga, and I was like, no, that's a terrible thing. You'll go down the wrong path. I swear. But yeah, I think it's at the Manga Studio. Manga Studio. So I know Anime Studio is now called Moho, and that's the thing that I use. I don't remember what Manga Studio was. I guess it's just for comic books or art. I don't know. So very slowly playing with that. Yeah, take your time with it. I don't need a day job. Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, you are the legend, so yeah, it's knocking out of the park. Just call me Jerry. LOL, just call me Jerry. Jerry? I'm kind of a trivia buff on basketball, baseball, football. Used to watch bowling, golf. Golf is dry. Okay. Trivia buff. Does that play into the taking on the sport? Is it beneficial to know all the players' names, statistics, and history to get into sports? I wonder about that. That's interesting. I'm a painter and do the VO. I'm a painter and do the VO. I read that right. That's exactly what it says. Was teaching voice. But OBS. What? OBS? OBS, none of that. OBS, none of that? Okay. But then the puppets are now being filmed. Tiny crew wrote script, having written a lot of professional before music. Puppets? You do puppets? That's so weird. I'm actually building a puppet right now. Actually, I was working on a puppet. It's actually from my brother. He was actually working on a puppet, but he wasn't able to finish it. So I decided to take it on and try to, because I'd never built a puppet. Used to do puppeteering like way back in the day, but yeah, never really. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out sometime. Yeah, I auditioned for some of your stuff. Yeah. Got more coming soon. Got more coming soon. Cool. I don't remember all the stuff I auditioned for. My apologies. Obviously. Oh. Is that how that's abbreviated nowadays? Every time I get text or messages on Facebook from people and it's like everything is abbreviated, I just skip those messages. I have no idea. I spell everything out. Like I feel it's gonna be a dying craft at some point. I really do sound like that. But, all righty then. Yeah, I sent toy pics. Oh, was that you that sent the puppet? That puppet that I did the voice for last time? Was you? Okay. Oh. Okay, now that makes sense. It definitely helps, especially when a record is broken. Perfect. Okay, yeah. Or sports history. A record is broken. Sports history has repeated its. Sports history has repeated itself. I'm not a sports guy, so I can't call shenanigans on that. I'm not gonna. I can neither confirm nor deny that sports trivia is relevant to playing the game, but I'm just gonna say you know more than me. I mean, literally anyone would know. My nieces know more than me about sports. I'm sure. Sure, they could at least name them. But yeah, I mean, it's never too late. They're still doing games. I mean, people are still playing, basketball, baseball, football. I mean, sure, the stadiums are different and everything's gone digital now, so here's a thing that I have always kind of, well, at least recently, really been thinking about and really, kind of laughed at is that the entire world and industry and pretty much every field has always been leaning towards digital, has always been leaning towards streaming, has always been leaning towards, um, you know, uh, subscriptions and all this kind of stuff online. And there was always a few companies and there was always a few groups that were really hard pressed on keeping things the way they always were. Um, you know, excuse me. Sports was always one. Not that I have anything against it. I have nothing against this and that. I mean, shit, spend your money however you want. We're entitled to be entertained in whatever way we prefer. So if you like going to a stadium, sitting there watching a game, and that is fun for you and the family, there's no reason that anyone should take that away from you. But also Hollywood is another one of those that's always been trying to keep things traditional. And they're like, no, in-house studios, we don't respect that. You have to come to our studio to record. And now no one can go anywhere. Now everything is digital. Everyone is in their own place. Everything's streaming. Netflix and Hulu was, just knocking things out of the park. And they were already basically beating the crap out of studios that were, still putting things in theaters. I really feel bad for theaters. I really do, because it really seems like they're really taking a huge hit, and they were already taking a huge hit. When I found out that, the theaters don't really make a lot from the movies, when a movie goes into theaters, the studio, I think it's the first week, the studio gets 100% of the profits, and then the following week they get like 90%. The following week they get 80%, and then so the theaters don't actually really make anything when people are watching the movie the first time. When it's the first weekend that it's in theaters, the theater really doesn't make any money. So that's why drinks and popcorn are always so high, and why they push memberships and stuff like that. But now that looks like it is being hit in the face with a baseball bat. So, I hated calling sports as an announcer or doing color. Oh, commentary, I guess. Color commentary. No matter how prepared I was, I never felt comfortable. Yeah, I did. I think the closest analogy or closest comparison that I have is when I did ring announcing for wrestlers, for wrestling shows. You know, sure, I was comfortable in front of the audience. Wearing a suit and being entertaining and trying to be, funny in the meantime, or in the intermission. That's the word that I was blanking on. But yeah, I never really felt like it was just so out of my field. It was just so out of my comfort zone. But yeah, lockdown emoji. Yeah. So, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? My guess is that when all this is said and done, the majority of the companies are not going to go back to the way things were. I think after this, after everyone is basically back to work, it's going to be back to work, but it's going to be very different. I actually think coming out of this, in studio auditions, in studio recording, in studio, this and that is actually going to be more popular, more common. More people are going to be going to places, websites to find work, to find people to work with. And I think that's how it's going to be moving forward. I really do. I mean, we were already heading in that direction. This just really just fast tracked that. And yeah, we took a huge hit on that, but we'll bounce back. We'll be fine. Anyway, I don't see any more questions, and it has been over an hour, which is the pretty much the norm. But yeah, next week, Saturday at 10, regular videos. I didn't do a live stream last week because I left to go be with family, which was a tricky affair because of all of this, but we made it work. When things are back to work and the majority recording studios go to fall. Oh, are the major recording studios going to fall? Oh, okay. No, not any more than they already are. There are still going to be tons of big projects, as long as major films and major animation is being done. Those kinds of studios are still going to be utilized. Big studios where they would record things like, Pixar films or DreamWorks films. The major studios are still going to be used. Reason for that is because, number one, they already exist. They may have to downsize. They may have some kind of issue or something like that. It may take a while to get the ball back rolling. But I don't think that those studios are going to die out. They don't record every single day. But I do think that people are going to do less auditioning in studios. I think the major production is still going to be done in major studio houses because they still have the highest level of quality. Yes, people's voiceover studios at home voiceover studios are getting up there and we're able to compete, but with a major company, they want guaranteed quality and the same level of quality for every single person with no interruption. And we can't always guarantee every single one of those things. We can guarantee quality and then sometimes not be able to guarantee no interruption. Sometimes we're just not available, this and that. And then sometimes our studio has issues. As good as my voiceover studio sounds, I still got upstairs neighbors. I still got traffic outside. I can't take out these walls and put multiple layers of drywall and whatever. I can't do that kind of stuff. So, but this kind of stuff is totally fine for auditions. And I think a lot more studios are going to be okay with people doing in-house auditions more than they used to. Even in Hollywood, I think that's going to be the case. So that, I think, will take a major turn. I think that will change for the better. Is that there'll be more people and more studios, even big studios, that are going to be okay with auditions from home studios, even if they're subpar. I think that's going to be the case. Any advice on sports broadcasting or coaching? Sports coaching? Sports or just broadcasting coaching, like voiceover coaching? I don't know. So one of the major areas that I know nothing about is radio spots and like sports commentary, sports broadcasts and stuff kind of like that. Yeah, you can ask him, but I'm still gonna try to answer. I don't know. One thing that I will say is if that's something that you're trying to get into, I would definitely say don't bank entirely on that. Don't like, this is what I'm gonna be doing, this is my thing, this is my career. Definitely, you definitely have to have more. You can't just focus on that one thing. Because I don't know how much, especially not now, I don't know how much of that you'd even need these days. But anyway, yeah, so didn't do live stream last Saturday. That's why I'm doing it this time. So the pattern is kind of broken, but next week is going to have a regular video. So look forward to that. Yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you like the video. Questions down below if you have any questions. Again, coaching email is down below. I haven't been getting to all of the I've been getting to all the emails, but not all of them in as expedient as I would want. Been getting a lot more emails these days. So, but I will do my absolute best to help and do whatever I can. Hey, Nicholas Shaw, my pleasure. I taught that stuff in university and journalism. That student was okay, cool. Well, thank you, David, and you too. And yeah, subscribe if you're new, bell for notifications. And until next time, peace.